Hello, welcome. This is Stoke the Fire. I'm Pamela Cuccinell. I'm an astrologer, and I'm going to forecast the week in a little bit, and you can use that information to really design your week for maximum potential. So Stoke the Fire, you can find out more about us, and the us will be introduced in a moment, at stokethefire.guru. And at stokethefire.guru, you can find out how to get what I like to call the encapsulated essence of this YouTube station. Oh goodness, my cat is playing with the light.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, very cute. Lola, she doesn't get fed until 5, but she does everything possible to get my attention. Okay, let's back to where I was. So stokethefire.guru is where you can go if you want just what we call the encapsulated essence of the 20-minute forecast for the week, and then 10 minutes of a wonderful guided meditation provided by Master Healer Susie Mazzoli. So I will introduce you now to Susie. Hi, Susie.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Stoke the Fire. And in the program, what I do after Pam has done the very acute astrology forecast for the week is I give a short 10-minute turbo boost meditation where I'm working with what we call the master teachers. It's energetic, and it's also a lot of information on how we can grow and how we can live according to the energetic waves that we're receiving, working with together cosmically with the universe, what we call listening to the forecast actually. And what I do every week is I take out my appointment book and I plan ahead, and I know what to look out for each day, and I know how to perhaps accentuate or amplify certain energies on the days that are given to us. And then also privately, when I have retreats coming up, or I'm organizing a launch of a book or a CD or something like that, or we're organizing another course for the School of Energetic Healing, I always check in with Pam to find out what's a great day to launch, or is this a great day to record my new CD, which we're actually doing next week, by the way. And when are the things that we can work with in the highest octave of our energy. So that's what we do at Stoke the Fire. We hope that you will join us every week and share with your friends and use this program to help elevate you into your highest potential.
That sounds absolutely perfect, because what we aim to do as spiritual teachers and healers is to magnify a sense of empowerment for conscious individuals who look at the world you're in right now and say, what can I do to make things better, to share in a way that's loving, to expand consciousness and awareness? And when individuals feel empowered and as though they can make a difference, then we all become stronger. So our intention with Stoke the Fire is to give you a sense that this is indeed an amazing time that we're living in. And the more people who are galvanized to take life in both hands and act in a way that is with loving intention. I'm sorry, my cat has a lot to say tonight, but the better the world. And so it's basically a tool for you to use to let you know that there is a group of people which just keeps making like concentric circles in a ripple. I mean, one statement that you make just expands out, and if your statement is about fear, that's one intention. If your statement is about loving possibilities and spiritual evolution, then that's another intention. That's the intention we're going for. So again, you can find out more about us on stokethefire.guru, and we'll tell you more where to find us individually in a few minutes after our program's over. So I'm going to begin talking about the astrology of the week. This is the first forecast for December 2017. The initial days of December were in last week's forecast. So today is December 4th. And our subscribers get this information Sunday before, so they can really map out the week. But for those of you who are seeing us on YouTube, December 4th, 2017, and basically the day began where the moon was in the sign of Gemini, and the moon was in the sign of Gemini until 3:37 p.m. Eastern time. All the times I do in this conversation are Eastern time, so adjust according to where you are on the planet. But at 2:13 p.m. This Monday, the moon went void of course. So what that means for people who are new to this conversation is the moon, through her travel through Gemini, no longer makes any geometric aspects to another heavenly body in the sky. And we call that void of course, meaning, and what it means is that the moon, which symbolizes so much about how we feel, our habits, our memories, it talks about the emotional weather. So when the moon is void of course, people are not as emotionally connected to whatever conversations, information, overtures, whatever tries to get off the ground. They just don't respond to it in the follow-through way that you may like. So we usually counsel, again, everything is specific to your individual horoscope or your business's horoscope. But in general, we say that when the moon is void, don't start anything new. Don't make a critical phone call. Don't do things that are really important. The things you can do are going about getting information, gathering material, finishing up tasks already in motion, organizing, clearing out, kind of getting things ready for the next time that the moon is in a sign and making connections. Earlier in the day on Monday, before 2:13 p.m., there's something to keep in mind here, and that's that Mercury went retrograde on Sunday. So with Mercury retrograde, we are now in a period where certain things just take longer to make happen. Assume nothing when Mercury is retrograde, especially in anything that has to do with communications and appointments. So earlier today, people probably were acutely feeling the Mercury retrograde energy. And that's because with the moon in Gemini, the sign that is linked to the planet Mercury, the communication planet, we very much emotionally feel like, Mercury retrograde. And Mercury does get a lot of dish because people just really don't necessarily understand what it's asking us to do when it's retrograde. And basically what it's asking us to do is to go within. People who were born with Mercury retrograde or people who work in intuitive arts or creative arts usually are very jazzed when Mercury's retrograde because they know how to listen to what's under the surface. They're connected to the subconscious and the inner consciousness. So this is really a very juicy time for you if you're a writer, an inner self explorer. But what can happen is in our very 24/7 high-tech world, we can feel tripped up because we expect things to happen so quickly. We expect to be able to text and call and get this kind of instantaneous response. And when we don't get it, we feel like life has just unraveled. And really what's happening is life is asking us to remember what's really important. So if today was a little rocky for you, just know it's time to do kind of an inner reboot, meditate, self-reflect. Sense of humor, very important when the trickster planet is retrograde. Mercury was the god of communication, the god of thieves, the god of sleight of hands. So that Mercury energy usually has a lot to do with sense of humor, getting a perspective of where is the message that isn't like straight on clear. So once the moon enters the sign of Cancer, which happened at 3:37 p.m. on December 4th, then we are in a period that's energetically a bit different than what was happening when the moon was in Gemini. One of the things that's going on is there can feel as though there's a lot of stuff that's getting stirred up. Moon in Cancer in an evening, I always recommend comforting meal, comfortable chair, do things that just make you really feel like you're babying yourself, that you're doing things that make you feel very centered and at home. Cat on the lap, or puppy on the lap, or baby on the lap, or significant other on the lap, whatever it is that makes, or a good book actually on the lap, whatever makes you feel loved, centered, and connected to something that feels like your inner hearth. Do that Monday night. Tuesday the 5th is a dynamic day, but a bit challenging. So you can feel like you're doing things that are close to your heart, or things that you really want to make happen or put across. But you can also feel as though you're getting tripped up or stumbling a lot. And basically what's going on here is that we have to confront whatever's in our way. So sometimes what's in your way feels like it's outside yourself, like an authority figure or a bureaucracy or a system that's really driving you nuts. Classic example is I'm one of the self-employed people who right now is hunting for insurance on the marketplace. So that can be a Mercury retrograde, very daunting experience for a person. And it's really, really important to just keep your sense of humor high with this, and a perspective. It's also challenging because the deadline actually for that is shorter this year, and its deadline is up with Mercury retrograde. So give yourself a kind of breakaway time if you're doing anything that feels very emotionally taxing and is also communication based. Power struggles or confrontations can happen this evening of December 5th. So just get clear on what's really important to you. And again, if you feel like you're in some sort of power struggle and somebody needs to capitulate, keep in mind that sometimes the most critical aspect is making peace within yourself about, is this something that really matters to me, that I'm giving something up, or do I just feel like I don't want to be pushed around? Because what's really important, of course, is for you to tap into what makes you feel safe, and as though you're able to declare what you wish to declare, and not so much about who's right in the situation. One of the things about doing some really deep relationship work is to keep in mind the phrase, is it more important to be right or in a relationship? So always ask yourself, if it's more important to be in the relationship than to be right. Always ask yourself, but is being in the relationship at the cost of my self-respect? That's different than being right. Sometimes it really doesn't matter who feels they're right in a situation, but what matters all is that you are respected in the relationship. So that's the kind of energetic power play that can come up on Tuesday evening. And of course, the most important relationship comes down to the relationship you have with yourself. Can you look in the mirror and feel that you respect yourself and the decisions you make? So on Wednesday, December 6th, the moon is still in the sign of Cancer. It goes void, of course, at 12:56 p.m. And this is where I say that morning can be very dynamic, a lot of things get done. A lot of things may shift that feel awkward or uncomfortable, but for people who are flexible and adaptable and keep their eye on what they're trying to achieve or do, it can still be a very, very dynamic morning. The thing to look for is that midday tempers can be very short, and it's the kind of period where somebody can just blow up for no apparent reason. So keep perspective about what's important. And especially if you feel your own temperature rising, think about, what am I upset about? Why am I upset? Is it relevant to the situation I'm in? And can I just find a place to kind of work that out in a exercise midday class, or is it something that I really need to express and say? And if it's something that you really need to express and say, make sure that you've moved through the emotional wave of it so that you're able to articulate it in a way that can really be heard. Because again, Mercury retrograde at this period in time, what really matters is that we understand, what is it I really want to communicate here? And sometimes it's not, I want to say I'm angry, but that there's a grievance I have that needs to be recognized and appreciated. So how can I express that in the most direct way possible? Moon goes void, of course, 12:56 p.m., after which the temperature can suddenly drop with moods and anger. And we can just be in this kind of almost unsettled space of, what was that all about? Or we can just feel an ebb of whatever it was that had been hitting crescendo. So at this point, it's good not to push yourself too much. And the moon goes into Leo at 3:37 p.m. on the 6th. Now, when this happens, even though the moon is waning, meaning the moon is getting smaller after the full moon this past weekend, and Mercury's retrograde, both these signal like more finishing up, integrating, going within times. But this period from late afternoon Wednesday through early evening Friday is actually a very, very active time to be making things happen that you want to make happen. Again, the ideal is that it's something that's already in motion rather than starting something brand new. But if something's already in motion and you're simply acting on it, especially anything creative, like Susie mentioned, she's doing a CD recording this week. That's perfect because she knows what she's doing. She's done the planning. Moon in Leo, it's very on as far as dramatic presentation and ability to perform. So it doesn't matter if you're an actor or a creative performer, but anything that needs to be articulated or expressed, this is a period of time, a little less than, no, it's actually 48 hours where it's good to do in basically a rocky period. So that holds through for December 7th, which is also in the States. It's Pearl Harbor Day. So that will probably be getting a lot of media discussion. And with the Leo moon, you can expect a lot of charged personalities or expositions about that. Also keep in mind, just because there is so much out in the world with rhetoric and media and government these days, and also in quote entertainment and the shift that's occurring, the big shift that we've been forecasting for a while with what I see more as a coming into balance of power. So it's on one hand, we could say that the feminine is rising, but also the patriarchal institutions are starting to fall apart because basically they aren't working anymore. And so we're hopefully moving to a place of equilibrium where we can feed into one another's good stuff, instead of just having this imbalance that has promoted a lot of systems that are basically unsustainable. So, so expect December 7th to be a high media day also, with whatever's going on. And I could talk about personalities, but that's not really what we do with Stoke the Fire. So just know that that's a great day for you to be working on whatever your message is or whatever you're trying to get out or get across. And then on Friday, the moon goes void of course at 5:40 p.m. Again, Friday, a fabulous day for basically, one thing I love about talking about Leo is it's the sign of the divine child. So the divine child is just a wonderful symbol, because it basically talks about the way every child should come into the world in an ideal. It's the of course, there's the story about Jesus, the baby who was the light, but even older than Jesus are stories of babies or the light child that comes in and provides this divinity into humanity. And when children are born and they're blessed and received in a loving situation, of course, they thrive, and the society and environment around them thrives. Unfortunately, the percentage of children that really come in with that kind of support is not as big as the other, where children come in hungry for that kind of divine reception. But when the moon is in Leo, or wherever Leo is in your personal horoscope, there's an opportunity to really explore what is the divinity within me? What is the thing I bring that's a creative gift that I bring, that I can share and celebrate and express? And so ideally, you're just in that zone over this period of time. And Friday looks like a really great day to do that, to play, to give yourself some creative expression, to let your creative light shine, whatever that feels like to you. It's also romantic and it can be glamorous. It depends how you like to play, what you like to do, what that means for you. So once the moon is void, of course, at 5:40 p.m., it's a very short period of time. And then at 6:09 p.m., the moon enters the sign of Virgo. And it's pretty much in Virgo actually all weekend. So the thing about that is Virgo is going to, when the moon's in the sign of Virgo, this last one is when it's making that last aspect to late degree Saturn before Saturn moves into the sign of Capricorn. And then we're going to be in a very different energetic cycle when that happens December 19th. And I'll talk more about that later, or you can find out about it on my blog, insightoasis.com. But pretty much what's happening at this last pass is that anything that is not really stepping up to personal responsibility may hit a wall of friction. And how profoundly this affects you has to do with, is it hitting a certain point in your personal horoscope or in the horoscope of someone you work with or live with or know very well. But basically on Friday evening, I would say prepare for the weekend. You know, whatever you're doing that weekend, don't last minute anything. Just even if you're doing kind of nothing, make sure you're prepared to do nothing. Have things in place so that when you wake up on the 9th, December 9th, you're able to really generate and make happen whatever the concept or design was for the weekend. The planet Mars enters Scorpio, where it will be for a period of time. And Mars in Scorpio is very directed. It's like, I want to do this now, very tenacious. So the more clear you are of what it is you want to achieve, the more the energies can actually help you move it. And you don't have to know how you're going to do it. Actually, you limit yourself when you know how. But you do really serve yourself well when you know what it is you want to be going for and what you want to achieve. So Saturday looks like midday can be a little rocky with personal relationships or with a sense of, are you feeling recognized or heard? But after that, it's a good day for meditation, reflection, but service and organization. So you don't want to make it a total drift day. You want to have some things that you're actually making happen. And then Sunday's kind of a bit of a discomfort day. The moon goes void, of course, at 10:02 p.m. And there are some pictures in the sky, especially in the morning, that indicate things can be a little difficult with relationships that are closest to you, especially any relationships where you share funds together, income together, how you want to do and what you want to do with your money. So that passes, but there can be some difficult passages in the morning. So these are all opportunities for you to reflect and learn. And with the moon in Virgo, it's really asking that you do what needs to be done to make it feel better. Virgo is the sign of the healer. So what makes it feel better? So at 10:02 p.m., the moon goes void, of course. It's a perfect night for you to turn off everything electronic and get a beautiful night's sleep, because sleep is very restorative and healing. So now I'm going to turn it over to Susie. Are you ready? A little edit there.
Okay. Wow, it sounds like a very powerful week yet again. And here we are, the last month already of December, the last month of 2017 in December. So, of course, I've taken copious notes as usual. And I'm working on what is the most important thing that really we can claim with this week. So let me just start the meditation. And again, as we do normally, we just ask everyone to sit. This is an energetic meditation, so you might have feelings of any type of like dizziness or movement through the body. It is definitely energetic in its shift. So that's why we ask you not to be driving a car while you listen to this, and not to be flying a plane or a spaceship or whatever else you might be doing. So as we sit now still, I invite you to close your eyes and we'll begin. Dear loved ones, as we work together, we invite you now to allow your perceptions of reality to dissolve. Simply allow all of the things just for 10 minutes, allow everything, all of the concepts, all of the ideas, all of your theories, everything that you believe to be true, just to dissolve, so that we can imprint more space, that we can imprint more expansion, so that we can imprint the understanding of infinity, which might be uncomfortable for many people, but let us just feel that a little bit as we increase the frequencies. And as we're doing this, what's happening, the doors of perception open up and we begin to experience the world in different ways, moving away from the strict control necessarily of 3D and moving into a more multi-dimensional state. And this is where, of course, the intuition, the awareness, the knowing, even communication really begins to broadly open up. This is where you are able to tap into what we call the source field, or what some scientists call the morphogenic field, and you're able to tap in and share information. Share information with your species, with the plant world, with the animal world, with the atomic world, with the plasma field. So it's about opening up, really opening up the mind, opening up the energy of the body. And as you feel this opening, what's happening is you're literally raising the frequency of your body. And as the frequency of your body goes higher, just like, for example, when you have a high temperature, that's your immune system having a very healthy and normal response. It goes higher to, let's call it an elevation, where those little bugs and critters that have come into your body and have made you sick cannot survive. So what happens when you raise your frequency, literally, by being more expanded? You're also raising your compassion and understanding of the self and of other human beings. And as we're saying all of this, let us again increase the frequencies. And then what happens as you're raising the frequency is you're raising also your perspective. So you're able to see more. It's like for example, an eagle flying in the sky. It can look down and it can have microscopic vision and see right down all the way between the blades of grass and see its prey, see the little mouse that it's going to try and eat. But it also can see everything in that landscape. It can see the pattern of, for example, the fields or the homes or the trees. And this view of seeing very close up, let's call it the microscopic view, and seeing the major landscape is a very important part of the development spiritually when one really increases their frequency. So again, let us again increase the frequencies, and as we do so, feel the energy in the third eye center and feel the energy of your third eye now, which is such an important part, of course, of your spirit, of your physical body as well. And just feel the energy now of the third eye beginning to activate all sorts of wonderful chemicals streaming through, allowing for vision, allowing for knowledge, allowing for wisdom to come through. And what happens now as you're activating the third eye and increasing your frequency, lifting up the spirit, lifting up the heart, opening up the doors of perception, is that the elements of what you might call other frequencies, which are perhaps disturbing or disharmonious to you, they can no longer be in this environment. This environment only allows for this rich, luminescent, rainbow white light. And this is what every being is essentially. And your world spiritual teachers, world religions, different philosophies all speak about this rainbow light body. It is so prevalent too in the Buddhist teachings. And this rainbow light body is literally what you might call an energetic or plasma field or electrical field of the body, which is the initial blueprint of the body. It is the original state. You might see this as the state of Buddhahood or enlightenment. And in this rainbow light body, all of the rainbow light, if you visualize within yourself, that from the heart center, you are sending out in all directions this beautiful, luminescent, pearly-escent, iridescent, shiny, sparkling, white light that has that beautiful sheen of rainbow, like the sheen you see on a bird's feather. And it is sending this light out to every cell of your body, bringing about immediate miracle healing and absolute vital health to all parts of your physical body. And then it moves into the less dense form, into the emotional body, and brings about this rainbow white light into your emotional state, allowing you to feel equanimity, calmness, neutrality, peace, joy. And then it moves out from the emotional into the mental field, and in the mental field creating clarity, crystal clear understanding of the world, crystal clear understanding of life, crystal clear awareness. And again, feeling that openness and expansion and feeling the connection to all that is, the oneness of this field. And as you are now encapsulating within your body all this rainbow white light, allow it now to go beyond your physical body into the field, to the field in which you are an active participant, the source field, the field of everything. And feel that there literally is no separation at all, no separation between what is you and what is the world at large. That there is no separation between the cells of your body, between the atoms of your body, that everything is now vibrating with joy. Every atom vibrates with joy and is held together by love. And this vibration, this intense, specific vibration is made from the essence of the field, which is made of love. And this vibration now reaches up and out into all of the world, all of the planet as you know it, reaching through all of the beings. And you are now sending this rainbow white light out outside of the planet, outside of the earth, out into all of the galaxy, to every single space, everywhere. And with this spaciousness now, with this beautiful effervescent light, feel yourself connected to all that is. You are compassionate, full of love, and full of potential in all directions, raising the frequency and having command over where and how you live, where and how you are. And in this frequency of love, we invite you to especially know that every time you bring yourself to this place, you are bringing the planet to this place. You are bringing the people, everything to this place. This is the essence and the importance of these meditations. And as we increase the frequencies one last time, feeling the joy and the bliss of this, we thank you. We are the master teachers and we are complete. Ooh.
I love the way our animals had something to say this call.
Well, we live in a house with lots of animals.
You definitely win the I have a lot of animals award, but mine may be solo, but she is insistent. So. She's calm right now, but I'm not promising that's going to last. She was definitely intrigued when she heard the dog bark. So, all right. So this is Stoke the Fire. You can find out again more about how we operate at stokethefire.guru. And I'm Pamela Cuccinell. I'm the astrologer, obviously, and you can find out about my work at insightoasis.com, where I write about, to some degree, current events, but definitely what's going on now and what you may need to know now. You can subscribe to my newsletter there. And I work with people privately, as well as I have several group offerings that will be available, especially in December. I have several group offerings that will, let's try this again, Pam. I will have a couple of group offerings that are available as of 2018. So again, more about me at insightoasis.com. And Susie, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
Absolutely. You can find me at susiemazzoli-healer.com. And I'm available for private sessions internationally by Skype and all the other wonderful programs that we have now, and also in New York City. And I also have some new courses starting in January and in April next year. Our courses for this year are completely full. January in New York City, March in Los Angeles, and April also in New York City. And that's the Art of Energetic Healing School. And you can look up the website, energyhealingschoolny.com, and it will tell you all about the wonderful things that we teach at the school, basically hands-on healing. And I also teach about crystals and what we would call spiritual healing, working with the energy field of the body to really bring about change in terms of disease, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And we also have a couple of trips coming up to France and Peru and Costa Rica, which are meditation retreats. And if you're interested to do some of those with us, we would love to see you. Please contact me through susiemazzoli-healer.com. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to, again, doing some meditations with Pam and our wonderful friends from Stoke the Fire and YouTube. Thanks so much. Lots of love.